Hello everybody, Gigi here. Welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a long time since I've been on doing a loom tutorial, but I told Cynthia, Crazy Mama on Instagram, that I would make her spring bling bracelet, and I am going to do that. Before I do that though, I would like to give a quick shout out to Katie_Loomer 1237. She's a very sweet young lady, and if you're not following her, hop on over and give her a follow. She does nails and looms, and yeah, girl after my own heart. All right, so let me start off by saying that this is a 5-pin bar design. Be down in the middle, up on both sides, and up on both sides. I'm going to get my things together and then I will be right back with you. Alrighty, so I am back, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lay a closure band right here. Just going to drop that band down there, and we're going to do the border. I chose not to put beads on the border this time. If you do choose to put beads, you would start your beads right here. So not the first one that goes up, but the second one. Okay, and then we'll go out to the left, and then straight up. Now I'll let you know when I come back how to finish that off. I actually didn't get that far in the flipogram, and I should have, so my apologies for that. But go ahead and finish this up till you're almost to the top, and then I will be back with you to tell you where to stop. Okay, so I am back, and I actually stopped at the 5th pin bar from the top, and then went in on a diagonal and in on a diagonal here. I couldn't tell in the flip how far away it was, but we're going to try that and see what happens. I'm not sure if this is a tight bracelet or, you know, if it's going to be long or what. So, but we're going to go ahead and go with what we have, because if it is too short for my wrist, I can always put an extension on it. Okay, oops, I think I just dropped some beads. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to start second pin bar, first pin, and go straight up. I put on the end of my beads here, this would not go through, and that's as close to the color that I could get, and it does sort of have a gold in it, and it's goodness me, it's out of the LE Gold Mint and White Pearl pack, so I did some sorting there. So, but I did want this to kind of match a little bit, as close as I could get it. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go in and I believe it's right here. Let me just go back for just a second and make sure that I'm doing this in the correct spot. We're actually going to twist these bands. Okay, so hold on just a second here. All right, so it looks like what we're going to do is we're going to use the first pin bar, second pin, going to lay this on here, and I think she went up from the top, but I'm gonna grab mine from the bottom. I'm gonna get a little bit closer so you can see how I'm twisting this. Okay, so these are half turns. So there's 1, 2, and 3. All right, and then I'm going to take that and put that right on this pin. It's just easier for me to do that, and whoops, I'm about to take that one off of there, aren't I? Look at that. Okay. All right, so we're going to do the exact same thing. Same pin, going to twist it the exact same way. I'm going to just hold this down here, and it will go 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to attach that right to this one. And then another band straight up. Okay. Let me back up a little bit. So you will have straight up, twist, twist, straight up, twist, twist, and do that all the way to the end of your loom. Do the same thing on the right hand side here. Now I'm going to do this slightly differently. I want to twist it the same way. and I'm right-handed, and if I put it on here, it would be too awkward for me to twist it. So I'm going to set it right here and twist the exact same way I did before. So that's 1, 2, get back on there, and 3. And then I'm going to attach it right here. So do it any way you can to make it easier for yourself. I'm going to go up to the third one here. I'm going to lay that on there and twist it. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to attach it. Just like that. And then I'm going to do a straight up. Excuse me. So you will mirror this side. Whatever you do on this side, you will do the same thing here. So straight up, out to the right, to the left, and straight up. Just for consistency's sake, I just twist them the same way. All right, so do that all the way to the end of your loom, and I will be back. So I am back, and the last thing I did was this twist out here, and this twist out here, and this is what your loom should look like. Okay? All right, so the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to use the gold, I believe. This is my metallic gold. And wherever you have this kind of this band that goes straight up and down, that's where we're going to actually put these. So first pin bar, first pin, diagonal to the right. Excuse me. And then we're going to skip this area. I'm going to go to the third pin, first pin bar. Whoops, I don't know what happened there. And then we're going to diagonal down to the right, and we're going to go diagonal up to the right. Make sure you push your bands down. Right. I'm going to go to the next section, which has this straight band right here, and do the exact same thing. So diagonal down to the right, diagonal up to the right. Okay, pushing those bands down. I'm going to go over to the end, so you want to do that all the way up to the end of your loom. Alright, so we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to mirror this over here. So, fourth pin bar, second pin, down to the right. Third pin up, then to go diagonal up to the right. Your next pin will go down diagonal to the right. Right. We'll go up to your next section, which has the straight band. Excuse me. Go diagonal down, up to the right, and diagonal down to the right. Okay, so push your bands down, finish that all the way up to the end of your loom, and I will be right back with you. Okay, so I'm back, and the last thing I did was I laid these bands right here. Not sure how they're getting looped up, but it seems like there should be something here and here, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. We'll deal with that if that needs to be. It depends on how she has actually looped this up as to whether those will catch or not. So I think they will. I think she knows what she's doing, so I'm not worried about it. So this is what it should look like. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to lay our beads, and we're going to start second pin bar, first pin. All right, and then I'm going to all we're going to do is just span them all the way across. And I use the smaller beads because I had also used larger beads. Okay, so that's going to go there, and then my next one is going to be a double right here. Put that right, come on, cooperate, thank you, and right there. So what you want to do is you want to put your beads all the way across. I think these get looped up, so if you don't use beads, I think it will be okay, but please don't quote me on that. All right, so this is the next bead is my special bead, and as you can see, there's not much on that end there. I'm going to hold on to this really tightly and try to use my hook to put this on here and hope that the other end does not come off. All right, so it's still there, and I am going to hook that and put it right here. I just wanted to show that you could use different types of beads. Now when I take this off, I'm not going to be able, my bracelet, when it lays on my wrist, is going to have to be facing a certain way. Otherwise these are going to be funny looking. So I'm going to make sure when I lay these that I lay them all the same way. All right, so go ahead and lay your beads across each one of these all the way to the end, and I will be back with you. Alrighty, so I am back, and this is what your loom should look like. I have placed all of my beads all the way up to the top. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a couple of different colors because it's a little complicated. There, you have a couple of different sections. So I just want, I'm just trying to decide if I'm going to use white or the green. I think I'll stick with the gold and green theme and actually use, I think I'm going to go ahead and use these instead of this mint. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to start off center, third pin bar up. These are going to be long stretches, and that's why I chose to use these, because they're pretty stretchy. All right, so first pin, second pin bar, up to the center. From there, you're going to do a long stretch down diagonally to the right, just like that. Okay, we're going to drop down here, and we're going to go diagonal long stretch to the left and diagonal long stretch to the right. Okay, that's one part of this sequence. And I want to tie in my black, so I am going to start right here, and I'm going to take this down diagonal to the left, and then from that center pin down diagonal to the right. Okay, and here I know I changed this color, but now I'm going to change to the green. Okay, so from here what we're going to do is we're going to go right here, or you can count. Let's do it from the center. You're going to go up to the left, long stretch, up to the right, a long stretch, and then we're going to drop down to here, which is your second pin. So just pay attention. It's really not too difficult. It's just a lot of steps. Up here, and then from that center pin down, long stretch to here. All right, that takes care of that. So that was your whole sequence. So then we're going to repeat that up here. I'll do that with you one more time. Alrighty. Now to make sure I'm going in the right spot. Was one? This was the other one? Okay. We're going to go up to here, this empty one, and we're going to do a long stretch from that down to the left, and then a long stretch from that down to the right. I'm going to drop down here, I'm going to do a long stretch up to the left, a long stretch, I'm pushing these down, a long stretch up to the right. Then I'm going to use my black. You can use any color you want, of course. And I'm going to go from here to here and here to here, pushing those down. We'll do the second half of that sequence. I'm changing my color. Just want to make sure I get this right for you. And you can pause and rewind if you need to. Okay, going to start right here. Going to do, whoops, no, we're going to start right here. I just want to make sure I get this correct. So yes, I'm going to start right here, diagonal to the left, long stretch, diagonal to the right. I'm going to go to this one right here and span across here. That's 1, and that is 2. Okay, so that is your sequence. I did it twice. You can pause, rewind, freeze frame, whatever it is that you need to do. But finish that all the way up to the end of the loom, and I will be back with you, and hopefully I was in frame. Alrighty, so I am back, and this is what it looks like. I stopped right here. I'm not sure about this part right here. I may need to add just a band right here because it's sitting alone there by itself, and that makes me a little nervous. So I am going to just add a single band up here. Okay, if we don't need it, I'll take it off when we flip it around, but I just don't like that hanging out there with nothing attached to it. Do you know what I'm saying? It's connected down here, but it is not connected here anyway. So I just went ahead and added that little piece right there. And this is what it should look like. Alrighty, so we're going to flip this around, and I believe we're going to put cap bands every other one, starting with the first one. So we'll start with our cap band right here. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure about this, so I may be taking that off of there. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and put a cap band on. So I'll just do a double for now, and then we're going to skip up. We're going to skip this one and put a cap band here, skip and put a cap band. So where you have these, well, I'm not even in frame, am I? So where you have these right here, you're not going to put a cap band there. You're going to put a cap band where there is not this little short cross band right here. Okay, so I think I'm going to do a triple, and I will go off and do those because I want to take one more look at the flipogram. Oops, I can't even do a cap band. I'm telling you, I'm way out of practice. And maybe my nails are too long. Oh, said no one ever. Alright, so every other one where there is not this piece right here, you're going to put a cap band. So cap band here, no cap band here, and a cap band will go there. So do that all the way to the end of the loom, and I will be back with you. Alrighty, so I am back, and before I laid this last cap band here, I went ahead and put a single band up here. You might not need it, but I don't think it's going to really matter. But I chose to do that because I don't want a gap, and I also have one down here, just in case you didn't, in case I didn't tell you before. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to start at the very center, and I'm going to just go ahead and bring my single band up. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to work the gold that I have in here. So you're going to reach in, grab that one that's on top, and bring it back to itself. Mine happens to be the left. I practiced with this, so I may have put them back on wrong, but I don't think it's going to mess up the design. So grab the next one and bring it back to itself. Okay. Next thing we're going to do are these short cross bands here. So whichever one is on the top, you're going to bring it back to itself. Reach in, grab the next one, and bring it back to itself. Okay. Then we're going to drop down and we're going to do this long diagonal right here. Whichever one is on top, you will bring it back to itself. Reach in, grab the last band there, and bring it back to itself. And I use stretchy bands for this because they are long stretches. You just want to make sure that your bands are not going to break, so you don't want them too tight. Okay? So then from here, what we're going to do is we're going to reach over here, and we're going to reach in, and we're going to grab this diagonal right to, which one? Don't know that it really matters which one. I think I'm going to start on the left-hand side and bring it back to the center, go over to the right, grab that one and bring it back to the center. Okay, and you want to stop right here. What we're going to do now is we're going to go down here. This diagonal here is going to go back to itself. So you'll reach in through everything. Make sure that you have reached in through the band that has your bead on it and bring that back to itself. Reach in one more time. Grab the diagonal that goes down to the left and bring it back. Then we'll go in here. Going to grab, whoops, I'm sorry. In here, you're going to grab the short diagonal, loop it back to itself, drop down and grab that long single band that goes straight up and loop it back. You can rewind, pause if you want. I'll do this twice through the sequence. Okay, I'm going to go over to the right hand side here. We're going to grab this diagonal right here and loop it back to itself. So reach in, make sure you go through the band that has your bead on it, loop it back, go into that same pin, grabbing the one that goes down and to the right, that should be the one that's on top, loop it back. Okay, go up one, grab this short diagonal here and loop it back to itself. Reach, go down below and grab that single band that goes straight up. Okay, and that took care of that. Now we still have these bands right here, and I believe we're going to bring them out. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Hopefully, Cynthia, if I have messed this up, I apologize. We can always call it a variation. Okay, and then we're going to start all over. So reach in, grab your band that is on the top, loop it back to itself, reach in, grab the next band, and loop it back to itself. All right, and that should be that first sequence. It took care of all of these and these down here. And we're going to do that one more time. Okay, so what we're going to do, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So your fifth pin up in the center, that's the one with the cap band on it. You're going to reach in, grab the band that's on the top, should be the diagonal that goes down to the left, loop it back to itself, reach in, grab the next one on top, which should be the diagonal that goes down to the right, and loop it back to itself. Just be careful you don't break any bands. Depends, of course, on what kind of bands you used. Excuse me. Going to go drop down and grab these short diagonals here. Mine happen to be black. Grab your band that is on the top, loop it back to itself, go in, grab the next band, loop it back. Okay, then we're going to go into that same pin and we're going to loop up these long diagonals here. I know it looks complicated. It's not that it's complicated, it's just that it has many, many steps. Okay, and I think we're used to doing, you know, just a couple of steps before we go on to the next one. But these are all, you know, included in one section. So you need to do that so that the bracelet comes out the way it's supposed to be. So from here, what we'll do is we'll go up to these diagonals right here. Okay? Yes or no? No, I take that back. I'm so sorry. So from where you put the black ones here, you're going to reach in, grab the band that is on top, making sure that you go through, well, come on, you go through your, I'm so stuck here. Yeah. Go through your band that has your bead on it. Make sure when you do that that you go through all of the bands that have your beads. Otherwise your beads are going to fall apart. Well, I shouldn't say they're going to fall apart. They just won't be connected. And you can always fix that by just stitching it on. All right, so from here, what we're going to do is we're going to drop down. Make sure I've got the right one here. Oops, we're going to do this one first. We're going to drop down, grab, making sure you go through everything, and grab that diagonal, loop it back to itself. Why do I feel like I'm missing one? I feel like I'm missing one, like right here. Let's see. Maybe not. All right, so from there, what we're going to do is we're going to go down here. We're going to grab this band that's on the bottom. Just be careful, there are a lot of bands there and it's pretty tight. I'll loop it back. Okay. Then we're going to go in. We're going to grab this band right here, loop it back to itself. Okay. I think I did this out of order, but it's okay. I think it's going to be fine. Reach in, grab this band, that short diagonal, loop it back, and then reach in and go straight up. Just like that. I'll try to do it a little bit slower on this side. And make sure I've got this right. Okay. So, I'm still concerned about this band here because I did not see in the flipogram where it was looped, but that's probably me. So what I'm going to do is I just want to get that out of the way. So I'm going to reach in, grab that band on the bottom, and just loop it back. I may have just missed that step when I was doing this. All right, so let's do this again. So before you do the side here, you're going to want to make sure that you catch this last band. I did not have one down here because there was only one and not two. So again, oops, so sorry, I may have missed it. All right, so I'm going to finish up this side here. The one that's on top is this one. You're going to reach in through everything, making sure that you go through that band that has your bead on it and loop it out, up and to the right, going through that same one. The next one on top should be the diagonal that goes down to the right. Loop it back. Okay. Go up to this diagonal here and loop it to itself. And then reach in and grab that last band that goes straight up and loop it back. Okay, so that was the second. Oh, one thing I forgot. So sorry. The last thing you want to do to finish off this is to reach in here where these diagonals, these long diagonals are, and loop them back to themselves. Okay? And that finishes that sequence. So you've done two of them. You can pause, rewind if you want. I know this is going to be a long tutorial. Well, maybe I'll just go over it one more time. All right, we'll do this one more time. I'll try to go a little bit quicker this time. Maybe. I don't know. All right, so now what we're going to do is, and one of the reasons why I changed the colors is because it gets really confusing. So, and it's only because there are a lot of steps. This is a gorgeous bracelet and well worth the time spent to make it. So, I'm going to go in right here where my cap band is, and I'm going to loop those long diagonals back to themselves. So down to the left, going in, oh, come on, well, goodness me, and down to the right. Okay, going to go into where your short diagonals are. Mine happen to be black. Going to grab those and bring them back to themselves. And make sure you push your bands down, please. Make sure you push them down. All right, going to go into that same one, and we're going to use these. We're going to bring them back to themselves. It's the last 2 bands on this pin. So loop that back to itself. Just be very careful because they are tight. Grab this one and loop it back to itself. Okay, so from there, what we're going to do is we're going to work on these long diagonals right here. Okay, so the ones right above that, these right here. Going to go into your second pin bar, making sure to go through the band that has your bead on it. You want to make sure you catch it, loop it very carefully. I'm going to use my fingers and pull this to the center. Go over to your 4th pin bar, again going through the loop, the band that has your beads on it, and loop it back to itself. Okay. Once you do this, we're going to drop down to here. Well, we're going to drop down to here. I want to loop these back. So you'll do your first one that has the curly Q on it. Reach in through everything. Grab that last band very carefully because it is tight. I'm going to use my fingers again to pull that. Loop it back to itself. Go over to the right so you don't forget. Grab that last band and loop it back to itself. Sorry, my fingers are in the way. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and start with the next section. All right, so from here, we're going to take this one first, reach in through everything, grab that band and loop it back to itself. Well, come on, there we go. Loop it back. And you may still have that band that has your bead on it in the way. If you do, just make sure you go through it. Go into the same one, grab the next band, or the same, well, the last, next to the last band on that. Bring it back, jump up here and grab this other diagonal, loop it back to itself, and the last thing you want to do there is you want to reach in and grab that single band that goes straight up. Okay, make sure you push those down. All right, so then we're going to go over to the other side here. We're going to do the exact same thing. Making sure you go through everything on there. First one we're going to take is this diagonal that goes up and to the right. So reach in, grab that band, loop it back, reach into that same band, same pin, grab your diagonal that is looped up, twirled up, that goes down and to the right. Okay, going to reach up here, grab that other diagonal that goes up and to the left, loop it back, go down, grab that one that goes straight up, and loop it straight up. And then the last thing we're going to do is go in here where you have this last diagonal before you start the next sequence. Grab it, loop it back, grab the last one, and loop it back. Okay? So I'm going to go off and finish that. Hopefully you guys got that. I know there are a lot of steps to that, but trust me, like I said, it is definitely worth it. So I'm going to go off, I'm going to finish these, but I'm going to go ahead and start my looping process of my border. And then I will, once I do this, finish this, I will meet you back here. So you just reach in and then loop them back to themselves. Just be careful because there are a lot of bands on the side. This is pretty straightforward as far as looping your borders go. And if you did beads, that's great. I just did not have the time or the energy to do beads on this one. And I wanted it not plain, but I wanted it, you know, just a little different. I didn't want the beads to take away from the look of the bracelet. So make sure you go through everything, including that band that has the beads on it, and loop it all the way up. All right, so I'm going to go off. I'm going to finish my center. Hopefully, you know, you got that. You can pause if you need to, whatever you need to do to get that. And hopefully, like I said, Cynthia, I did that correctly. So I will see you guys back here in a few moments and we will take this bracelet off. Okay, so I am back and I have taken most of this off. I do not suggest ripping this off of the loom because you might break some bands. So I'm releasing the tension on the right side and then I'm going to release the tension on the left side. And then after I get this off, I want to talk to you about the beads. Okay, so let me just finish this up. I very carefully try to get them off with my hook. So, yeah, when placing the beads, my bands that I used to place the beads were not very tight. They were super stretchy, but I needed them stretchy because otherwise I could not have gotten my beads in there. So we will talk about that. Before I take this all the way off though, I'm going to reach in maybe and grab my closure band and then close this off so I don't lose it, so it does not fall apart. Okay. And I'm not a big fan of C-clips, so I'm going to use my little plastic safety pin. Alright, so that's almost off. Oh, come on. Right to the very end. There we go. Okay. Alrighty, so this turned out very pretty. I have put these on so they got twisted around. If you'll take a look, you can see here where my bead is just kind of, the band for that bead is just kind of hanging out there. So, and this one not so much because I put two on there. So I don't know, I may be able to reach in and actually grab that. Let's see if I can do that and pull it through so that I can tighten up that, there we are, tighten up that band. Okay, so that worked on that side, and let's see if I can get it on the other side. So I pull it up really close to that band and then I pull it, grab it and pull it through. Okay, so that straightened that band out, and I will do that for all of my bands. Such a pretty, pretty design. I'm going to pull this one out here just a little bit and then give it a stretch. Now I should have gone all the way to the top because even with that stretch you can see the gap that I have in here. But that's okay. I have I'll either use a magnetic clasp or a regular hooked clasp and put that on. Beautiful, beautiful bracelet. Beautiful design. Oh, and look, I did one upside down. So I have a choice to take this off or just leave it. It's underneath, so I don't think it's going to really matter. But everything else, you can see I just did them backwards because I wasn't paying attention when I put them back on. But I think it's okay still. I think it's okay. So what do you think? Well worth the time it took to make this bracelet. Let's flip it over. Look at how nice that is. So pretty. And I think the colors are okay on this. So I'm quite happy with it. I suggest going all the way to the top of the loom when you're laying your bands. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's see if I can flip this around. Yes. So what I would do is I would take it all the way to here. That last bit will give you a little bit of extra room or extra length on your bracelet. But what do you think? I think it turned out quite nice. I'm quite happy with it. It did take a little while to do. I won't lie, because again, it's not that it's a complicated bracelet, but there are many, many steps to do the centerpiece because you're doing such a large, you're doing like from here to here. You know, that's a large area to be working at one time. But hopefully I showed you how to do this correctly, and Cynthia, you did a fantastic job on this. I'm going to stretch it out a little bit more so you can see how pretty that is. Absolutely gorgeous bracelet. I could have chosen different beads, but you can see what I'm talking about when I say, let me get it a little bit closer, where if you're going to use a large bead like this, you might want to put a single seed bead here, or just not put a bead there at all. You do not have to put the beads there, and as a matter of fact, I'm thinking I might take these off, these double ones, because they are too close to my little butterfly here. So yeah, I think I'm going to do that. That's easy enough because your beads are not, they're just looped in here like that. So you can take them off without, let me get my scissor and I'll show you. You can take them off without ruining the design. One snip there, and I will pull this. It's not looped so that if you take it apart, your bracelet will fall apart at all. So I'm going to pull that off also. And then I will just have these and then the single beads. Let me take this one off and show you again. Or, you know, if you're making this bracelet, you of course do not have to put beads on here at all if you choose not to. Not a big deal. There. I think that looks better. Well, did I take off the wrong one? No. Okay, grab this one over here. I'm going to take this one off too. Sorry this has been so long. I apologize for that, but I did want to make sure that you were able to do it on your own. It's important. That one doesn't want to come off of there, and I know I cut the right one. It's just stuck. Oh, well, it is stuck. I'll have to get that, but I'll show you what I mean. Let me grab this side and trim that off of there, and I'll just pull it out of the way. There. So you can see that I think that looks better with this and then these on the side. So, you know, you never know when you're putting the beads down, right? And I'll have to get that off of there. There it goes. Okay. So I think that looks better. It's not as busy as, say, this one with the two beads on either side and the single beads. All right, so I'm going to go off. I'm going to remove those extra beads there. And if you, like I said, if you don't want to put beads on this, you do not have to put beads. Not required. Makes it look really pretty, but the design itself is so nice. Look at that. I don't know that I've seen anything like that before. So there we have it. Cynthia is Crazy Mama on Instagram. Give her a follow if you would, please. I am Lila's Gigi on Instagram, and if you're interested in my nail account, I am lilasgigi.nailz also. Thank you so very much for watching this tutorial. I hope you make this bracelet and enjoy it. It's a little thick here, as you can see, but it's a beautiful, beautiful design and a gorgeous bracelet. Excuse me. So give it a like if you'd like. Please subscribe if you have not already. I would appreciate that. I plan on having some more tutorials out. So, yeah. Thank you again so very much for watching, and as always, be kind.